Welcome to the My Inner Tiger podcast. I'm your host, Sydney D. Camella. I'm also a wife, mother, master life coach, course creator, and spiritual Sherpa. Over the past few years, I have overcome extreme anxiety, depression, addiction, infertility, and chronic illness. And as a result, I've made it my life's mission to teach other women like you that no matter what battle you're up against, you have an inner tiger, a power within to create and manifest whatever your heart desires. If you are tired of being a victim and ready to be boss of your life, you have come to the right place. Each episode, I'm going to share tools, teachings, and techniques I have used and taught countless other women so that together we can create a life beyond our wildest dreams. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that your inner tiger is just waiting to be unleashed. I'm so happy you've tuned in. Let's get started. Hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to the My Inner Tiger podcast. I am really excited about today's guest. Her name is Becky Graff, and she is a certified emotion code and body code practitioner. She has been doing it for 8 years, and I met Becky through a friend of a friend a few years ago, and have worked with her extensively since we met. And I am a huge fan of body code and emotion code. It has changed my life. It has helped me get pregnant, which I'll talk more about later. And it's just truly a remarkable practice that just not enough people know about. And so I'm really excited to be sharing this with you guys and introducing it to those of you who may not know what it is. And so without further ado, I want to bring Becky Graff on the mic. And Becky, first of all, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sydney, for having me. I'm really honored.
Yay. I'm so glad you could do this with me today. So why don't you just dive right in and tell us a little bit about yourself, how you found body code and emotion code, and anything else you want to share about yourself. So mic's yours.
All right. Thank you. And thanks again, Sydney. It's just a pleasure to be with you today and talking with you about something that we have this mutual love and admiration and respect for, being the body code. I found this emotion code book. Someone had given me the emotion code book, and this has been about 10 years ago now. And I had some health issues going on, some issues going on with my thyroid. I had been diagnosed with Hashimoto's of the thyroid. And it really made a lot of sense to me once I took a look at the emotion code book. This is by Dr. Bradley Nelson, and I highly recommend it. He tells a story of how he was a holistic chiropractor, and he had just through prayer and seeking for further guidance to be able to help people on a greater level, had come up with this technique. And I was so drawn to it. And it made a lot of sense to me that things in our lives, things that we go through, traumatic events, not always, it doesn't have to be something hugely traumatic, but things happen and we can trap those emotions in our body. Those emotions are frequencies. And when I found that and started to learn more about it, I was really drawn to it. I thought, if this can just help my family and me with some of the things that we've gone through, I would just be really grateful. And as I continued to learn more about it, I really felt, I guess you could say called in my heart to go further, to become a practitioner and be able to help other people. I'm just a wife. I'm just a mom. I'm a granny now. I have 5 grandchildren, and my life is great, but there were things that I really wanted to be better. And this has been such an amazing journey over these last 8 years as I decided to go ahead and become certified and do the training. And I got to do a year-long mentorship with Dr. Bradley Nelson, which was hugely rewarding, just to learn from this master healer, really. And he's just has such a kind and gentle heart and very humble man. And just his mission, he says, is to help heal the world. So I love that.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about what body code is.
Yes, body code. As I said, Dr. Nelson realized that there were things going on with people where they had imbalances in their body that couldn't be completely helped physically. He could manipulate a spine, but it might just, go right back out of alignment. As he prayed about it, he realized that these were emotional things going on in the body. Emotions were trapping and then eventually breaking down certain parts in the body, whether that was the spine or whether that's an organ or a gland or any tissue in the body, was causing emotional things as well. So he realized that if we could tap into the tool of muscle testing, and this is applied kinesiology, muscle testing, where our bodies have this innate ability to be strong. Any muscle in the body will be strong on a positive or something that's a yes. And our bodies, the muscles, the tissues in our body will be weak on something that's a no or a negative. So utilizing that tool of muscle testing, he developed a system of charts that we can use. Now, it started out just as the emotion code, and that's really the heart of the body code as well. They work hand in hand together. But the emotion code is a chart of 60 of the main basic core emotions. And that is broken down into 2 columns, column A and B, and then rows 1 through 6. And through muscle testing, if we ask, because we can only ask yes or no questions, right? Our bodies we've got a binary computer in there. The cells of our body, our subconscious, the spirit, higher self, this is all working together in the background and knows exactly what's going on with our body, knows exactly what's going on that might be causing anxiety or causing depression or causing health issues. And so utilizing that muscle testing and going to the charts, which I think we're going to do a little demonstration with you in a little bit, Sydney, but we can find exactly what it is that your body is saying, hey, this is an emotion or this is an imbalance that needs to be taken care of. So that really in a nutshell is what the emotion code, the body code just reaches out a little bit further, actually quite a bit further, to 6 main areas of imbalance in the body. And that can be energy, it can be toxins, pathogens, misalignments, nutrition and lifestyle is another section, and then the systems of the body. So what the body code does, it's a program, it's an app that I use that then will take us further and further down the path to find out exactly what it is that is going on in the body that is causing some kind of an issue, some kind of an imbalance.
So I want to interrupt you really quick right now, and just for the listeners to understand how this kind of works, and I'm speaking from my experience in working with body code, is so you will get on, and most of this is usually done virtually, right, Becky?
Right. And that's another amazing thing about this, is that we don't have to be in person. Energy has no boundaries. And I'm blessed to have clients that I work with that are all over the country, all over the world. And energy, just, it doesn't take longer to connect with someone that is in Australia than it does to connect with someone that's right here next to me. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to do that muscle testing and that connection virtually wherever in the world you are.
Right. So the way it kind of works is you would have a phone conversation with the body code practitioner, and initially they will tap into your energy. So they ask permission to tap into your energy and connect with it. So then as they're going through the body code, they are basically asking your body and your energy questions, and then the answers come through in like a, yes or no, and it would come like, it would say like column A, is it column A or column B? Column B, is it row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then it would, and the way that the practitioner knows yes or no is through muscle testing. And I think I've seen different practitioners do the muscle testing a little bit different, but the bizarre and awesome thing is that you can do this from your house. Like, I'm always laying comfortably in my bed doing this amazing session. And by the end, usually I'm just like zonked out. Like, you can just feel the release of the different things that the body code practitioner will release in your body, which is so interesting. And yes, we are going to do a demonstration here toward the end, but it's just really fascinating how it works. You can connect to energy anywhere in the world. You can just tap right in and connect to that energy with permission. And so that's the coolest part of it all. And also I want to add, I have done a body code session in person before. And I was just thinking, this is no different than doing it remotely. Like, she did use like a little magnet device. I don't know how to explain it. It's very odd, and like ran it up and down my spine to clear different things. But honestly, like, you can just do that remotely. Like, you don't need to be in person. So I love that about body code, that you can do it remotely.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. We never do anything without asking permission of that person's, the conscious permission, first of all, of course, and then the underlying, the permission from the subconscious, from the spirit, the higher self. That has to be permission and given, and being open to be able to get that clear muscle testing. And just to answer your question, Sydney, or to just clarify a little bit for you, Sydney, on the clearing. So what that magnet would have done, and it might have been just some kind of a fancy magnet that person used, but the clearing is its intention, most of all. But what the magnet does, as we run that magnet over the governing meridian, which our bodies are full of meridian pathways. The ancient Chinese, thousands of years ago, mapped those pathways of the meridians, and that's where we have acupuncture, acupressure. They use those meridians. But what we do to clear is hold the intention that energetic vibration of that emotion, or that could possibly even be a vibration of a toxin, or the energy of a pathogen, to clear that out of the body, we use that magnet over the governing meridian. And so that's what that would have been, as that was clearing out of the body. So the magnet just intensifies or magnifies the intention.
So cool. So, all right. And I'm going to ask a question, but I know that the answer is everyone. But the question is, who would benefit from body code? And though I know it's everyone, what specifically do you see coming through? I want to say coming through your door, but coming through your phone. As far as clients, like which clients would most benefit from this work?
Well, you're right in that everyone can benefit, but I'll give you a little sample of clients that I mainly see, or like you said, come through my door. Lately, over this past year and a half of craziness that we've had, I have gotten a lot of clients with emotional things going on. So things like anxiety. We're picking up a lot of collective energy of anxiousness and fear. There's a lot of uncertainty around the planet right now. And so I've been working with a lot of clients for that, for anxiety, for depression, just being able to stay grounded and balanced and be able to continue to just move through the day with, feeling safe and feeling confident. And also with the immune systems, that's a big thing that we can work on with the body code, with any kind of virus, any kind of imbalance. And I have had quite a few clients recently with some very severe illnesses, things like Lyme's, that they've been suffering with for quite a few years. And it's amazing. I'm on a different journey every day with clients, and to see their growth, to see their improvement, it's just an amazing journey. And the body code plays such a huge role in that healing process for so many people.
Right. I can attest to that for sure. When I first did my first body code session, it was when I was in a very dark place trying to get pregnant, which I tried for years to get pregnant, and my whole life became about that. So I ended up in just a very dark place of failure, of disappointment. And we were doing our third round of in vitro fertilization. The first two failed. And it was our third round, and a friend had asked me if I'd ever heard of body code. And I said no. And she said, well, you have to talk to this person. So I made an appointment, and I did, I think, 1 or 2 sessions with her. And it was right before our third embryo transfer. And after that, I got pregnant. Now, I can't guarantee that it was just because of that, but I do know that it had a big, I believe that a lot of the reason I wasn't getting pregnant was from emotional trauma. And during those sessions, we released so much, so much from my uterus in particular. And it was just really fascinating. And so I was hooked from that point on. I was hooked even before I found out I was pregnant, because I really loved it so much. And, just all the different sessions that I've done, crazy things have come up for me. I'm not crazy. I mean, it's normal in your world, Becky, but, things that will just blow your mind. Like, the biggest, I think, most tangible example for me was, and this might've been with you, Becky, where we were in a session, and there was some kind of trauma to my stomach area, my midsection, if you will. And they said the body code showed that it was a physical trauma. And then body code can show you what age this trauma happened, which is so cool. And so came about that it was like around age 12. And so I had some kind of trauma to my stomach that got trapped in my body around age 12. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh my God, I got beat up when I was 12 and punched repeatedly in the stomach. And it was a very traumatic experience for me, emotionally, physically. I will never forget it. And just the fear, the danger that I felt because my parents weren't around, and, it trapped so much for me. And we released that. And I just thought, like, everything else could have been up for debate on some of the results we got for, like some of the trapped emotions, but this one was like legit, and that just, not that I didn't already completely believe in body code, but when that happened, it just really sealed the deal for me. Cause I was like, oh my God, that's, I can tangibly remember that, you know what I mean? And so, but there's also, gosh, so many different things that, have been traced back to even generational, I don't know what you call it, like generational, what would you call it? Like emotion.
Inherited, or
Yeah.
yes, generational. Those, just like you can inherit your grandma's eyes or ears, you can inherit grandma's insecurity. Some of those emotions are so strong that they get passed down through the DNA generation after generation. And those are super powerful when those come up, to be cleared and to be able to clear that line. So if there are, your own children that possibly have inherited those generational emotions, we can clear that. And that chain that's been going on for generations, that will be broken, that will be stopped. It won't be continuing to pass down, through your children and your grandchildren. It's a beautiful thing, really profound.
It really is. And I love that. When I've done some sessions, we've cleared lots of generational stuff. And I love that we can clear, like you said, the whole line. So clearing my brother, my sister, my mom, my child. And it's gone forever. I remember one where we cleared it through all my cousins.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's just, I just love body code. So my next question is emotion code, and specifically the heart wall. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I've had a session with you where we cleared my heart wall, and I had a subsequent session actually just a couple of weeks ago with someone else who said, oh, you don't have a heart wall, and you must have had it cleared. And I was like, yes, I did actually. I had my heart wall cleared. So tell us a little bit about that, because that is a powerful session as well.
It really is. It's so powerful, and it's so profound. You think about our subconscious, and the what building material does our subconscious have to protect our heart from being broken? It has the material of emotion. And when we go through things in our lives, our subconscious, our spirit, our higher self doesn't want our heart to be broken. It wants to help protect us from things that are painful or traumatic. And so what happens is, in the moment that emotion is placed there as kind of a piece of this, what we call a heart wall, it does act as a protection. But what happens is, as more emotions are added onto that wall becomes thicker and heavier, and you build up this, you're in this place where then you become distant, you become more lonely, more withdrawn. You're unable to open up to people, open up to love. So some really, really cool things have happened as I've helped people to clear their heart walls. They've been able to find their, their love, their true love, and their soulmate, whatever you want to call that. It has been able to open them up to find that person. It's helped people to actually get rid of some physical things that were going on with the circulatory system and the heart itself. So that's a really cool thing, because that heart wall and the heart wall emotions can affect you on a physical level as well. But, symbolically, that heart wall, our subconscious sees it as a specific substance, a material. So sometimes it's even fun to check in and see, and I don't remember, Sydney, if we did this for you, but check in and see what your subconscious says the material is. Like, I found some people that it was, wood, and it went back and we we found something in their past that they had a favorite place where they would go in the forest that was really peaceful for them. And so their subconscious said, okay, I'm going to use these emotions and create this heart wall out of wood. There have been people that were thick, heavy stone. I think granite was one of them that I found that I remember that was really interesting too, because that person needed this really big, thick, heavy protection from something that they were going through as a young child. So it is really a cool thing. And it's really freeing when those heart wall emotions are gone. And 95% of people have a heart wall. And that's crazy number when you think of that many of us walking around with our hearts blocked off. And that's the type of thing that can cause you to feel, you can be in a room full of people and feel alone. That's what a heart wall does. One of the things that a heart wall does. So it is really, really a profound thing to address the heart wall and to get those emotions cleared out and to free your heart.
Right. Yeah, because the heart wall is really formed as a way of protecting you, right? Which I think you may have alluded to, but as you go through life and things come at you, you build up this wall of protection against anything that can hurt you in the future. And that's great when you're young, you're just learning how to protect yourself. I wouldn't say it's great when you're young, but it makes more sense when you're young. But when you become older and you're an adult and you know how to protect yourself and feel safe in this world, you no longer need those fake protections, right? And in fact, they are keeping you from really being in alignment. They're keeping you from really having everything in life that you want. And it's just, like you said, it's truly profound to break that heart wall away, and just how much freer I think you feel emotionally and in general. Speaking from experience.
Let me give you a little analogy, Sydney. This is a really cool analogy that I like to share. So if you knew that we were in a place where we were going to be bombed, that there were going to be bombs and weapons coming at us, we would want to be in a big, thick, heavy bunker deep down in the earth. That's where we would want to be. But would we really want to live in a place like that? Those walls are thick. It's dark. It's cold. It's lonely. We're isolated. And that is exactly what the heart wall does. It creates that place, kind of a bunker around the heart, but that it's not a good place to live. We want to live in a place of being open and free and able to love and able to receive love in return. And so, I love that, just a little visual there of how the heart wall shows up.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly the perfect metaphor. So my next question for you is, I'd love to hear some success stories. So can you tell us just what, if there's any of your clients that really stand out, that have had just great success from Body Code? I know that you can't not have any success from Body Code, that I know for sure, but what are some of your favorites that you'd like to share?
There are so many. It's hard to kind of narrow down, but can I share a story about some animals? Because this is another really cool thing that we can do. We can actually tap into the energy of an animal. And so I've worked with a lot of dogs and cats and horses and even some goats. And I want to tell you a story about two little dogs. And this was actually a session that I did in person when I was first starting as a practitioner with the Body Code. And I had gone to my friend's house, and they had these two little dogs. And she told me that they had just never gotten along. They were always they were always jealous of each other. They were always fighting, and they never would play together. They just kept to their own space. And so I started clearing a few emotions. The dogs were right there with us. And so we cleared a few emotions off of the one dog. We cleared a few emotions off of the other dog. And we sat there and we're just visiting for a little bit, this friend and I. And these two dogs went over to each other. They climbed up on the chair back behind where my friend was sitting. Both of them jumped up there. They laid down with their heads on each other and went to sleep. And it was so cool to see that. It was so fun. And, she said they're doing great. And it was just a really, really cool, fun story with those dogs.
What I love about that story, is that animals are so not complicated.
Right.
And so like just to see right in your face, like the immediate change is so cool. Because humans, we're open to interpretation constantly. So
yeah, we're very complex.
Yes. So that's just such a good story. Okay, so tell us some more.
Yeah, let me also tell you a story about a child, because this is something that also, you wonder, is there a placebo effect? And sometimes maybe with an adult, with a human, there may be a little bit of a placebo effect. But these stories, things that I see with animals and with children that don't even really know that we're doing the session, we've just got permission from the parent. To me, that's really a stronger testimony, or a stronger proof that there's really not that much of a placebo. It really is doing what it says that it's doing. We really are clearing out these emotions and helping to balance the body. But let me tell you a story about I think this little boy was 6 years old, and his mom had called me and just said he was really struggling. He had nightmares, and he had started school. I think it was in the fall of that year, and he had started school and was getting in trouble at school. He just was saying things that were really concerning, like, I don't really want to be here in this life, or just things like that in this little 6-year-old boy were really concerning. And so we did I can't remember if I did a second session with him or if it was just one session, but I was so thrilled when his mom called me and said, "Do you know what this little boy said?" He said, "Mom, the darkness is gone out of me." And it just brought tears to my eyes, and he did just a complete turnaround. He was able to do well in school, and he was able to sleep. And it was just such a profound thing to see the effect that just a few of those, and most of his were generational. They were inherited because he was so young. And I don't remember exactly what it was we cleared, but it was just such a profound change in him. And it just made me wish that I would have had this when I was 6 years old,
Oh my gosh.
No.
The difference it would have made.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually did a session for my son not too long ago. Well, maybe like a year ago. And he didn't have a lot, which was awesome. They were saying he was a pretty healthy, happy boy. They cleared some generational stuff from him, which I was super excited about, because he'll benefit from that for the rest of his life.
Right.
But it's so powerful. Love that story. Yeah. And you're right about the kids, like, in the placebo effect, they don't know what you're doing. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There are people, I think I mentioned Lyme's earlier, and I have one client that she's just become a really, really dear friend, because we've done quite a few sessions together. She was very, very ill, just on death's doorstep a year ago. And as we've done sessions, and she's done some other things too, but she really says that it's body code that has really saved her life. And, I feel honored to be part of someone's journey like that. I'm not really that special. I did the training. I did feel a very strong pull to do this, a call to do this. And I feel like it has allowed me to utilize some gifts that I've been blessed with to help other people. But the healing really comes between the person and God. It is a very sacred thing. And I can be the facilitator. I can help identify what the imbalances are, the emotions, the things that need cleared out, and help that person clear them. But the healing really comes down to, that person's journey and how they go through that. It's individual. It's unique to each person on that healing journey. But this woman has made remarkable just leaps and bounds in her health. And she has even become certified now in the emotion code and the body code. And so it's really exciting to see her get to that point where now she can help other people because she's gone through this healing journey and really overcome some very, very severe effects from the Lyme's. So that's another example of someone that's just been really fun to work with.
Right. I am another example. So for any listeners who may be just tuning into this episode first before any others, let me just give a very brief background in that I had my son in November of 2019. And I went immediately into kidney failure as a result of a retained placenta and a surgery. It's a long story, but I was in kidney failure for, I'm still actually technically in it, but I was on dialysis for 1 year. And during that year, I was determined to heal my body and get off of dialysis, which is completely unheard of. And so I was able to do that. And I was able to cancel a kidney transplant. And I'm still continuing to heal my body. That's why I'm doing all of this work that I'm doing, and always learning and growing and exploring new ways of new healing modalities and different things, and just growing my consciousness and learning that your brain can actually heal your body. Anyway, so body code has been a huge part of my healing journey. Huge. I mean, I probably would not be off dialysis if it weren't for body code. And I've done a lot of different things, but I would say that body code, acupuncture, some work with a shaman, and hypnosis would probably be my top healing modalities for what has helped me. And I'm referring just to external modalities, not internal work that I've done on myself through meditation and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've come a long way. And for anyone who knows creatinine numbers, which is a number that you measure your kidney function with, I've gone from, I started at around 8, which is complete kidney failure, like not creating any urine, nothing, to 3.8. And that is huge. In the world of kidneys, that's huge. So again, I still have a long way to go, but I would say that body code is at the top of my list for a healing modality that actually creates results and works, and that you can, I've measured my kidney numbers after body code sessions and they've gone down. So it's fascinating. It's remarkable. It's mind-blowing to anyone who's not familiar with the concept that energy and consciousness and your higher self and all of that is really involved in healing. It's really cool. So there's my little testimony. And I also want to throw another little tidbit in here. There's another podcast that I'm going to be recording, and I'm just recently recovering from COVID. And during my COVID experience, I had, let's just say it was very hard on me mentally and emotionally and consciously. It's almost like it just turned the lights off in my life. It's like someone just came in and turned the lights off, and I was very unstable. And I have my Inner Tiger podcast, I beat kidney failure, and I was at a point where I was like, I don't think I want to live anymore. And it was crazy to me that I was feeling and saying these things. And so I went and had a session done with craniosacral therapy session done. And the therapist is also certified in body code. And she stopped the cranio and went into body code for a moment and recognized that I had some entities attached to me, and she cleared them, and I immediately felt better. So like I'm saying, I'm going to be doing another podcast on that whole experience, my COVID experience, and things that I've learned through COVID, which is also really powerful. But just the magnitude and the different things that body code, I guess, I don't know, can do is just remarkable. And, from entities to clearing trapped emotions, to clearing trauma, to just clearing out anything that's keeping you out of alignment, anything that's keeping you stuck, basically, and not able to move forward and live in the, how would I say it? Your God-given right to be healthy and free, right? So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, that's such a great way to put it, Sydney. That is exactly right. God wants us to be healthy and happy, and we are, each of us, on a unique journey, just as you said. And just congratulations to you. I mean, what an accomplishment for you to come through what you have come through and to come out on top like you are. And you're such an example to everyone else of what can really be accomplished when you are serious about really getting to the root cause of healing and getting really to that foundation that you need to build the strength back in your body and to allow your body to heal physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's such a beautiful thing.
Oh, thank you, Becky. It's become my life now. And, I've said it before, and I will say it over and over, that as hard as it's all been, I know it was part of my purpose. The message I get all the time in my meditations and when I'm just talking to my body is that you had to do this to share it with other people. Like, you were chosen to share this with the world. And so that's what I'm doing. It's a very clear calling.
Yeah.
So I would love to just go ahead and do this sample session so that people can get an idea what it's like, what it looks like kind of to do this body code work, because it's so cool. And I want people to know that how easy it is as well. Right. So let's do like a real quick.
Yeah, let's do it. I would love to do that, because that is, I think, why I was drawn to this was the simplicity of it, but the power, so it is simple, but it's so powerful, and it has the potential to really get to the root of what's going on within your body. So yes, let's do this. So what I'll do, Sydney, is, I know I have your conscious permission because you just said that. What I'm going to do is ask for permission from your subconscious, your energy, and I get a yes. So what I'm doing, I'm using the muscle testing, and this is self muscle testing where I'm actually just linking. I've got my thumb and my first finger on each hand linked like a chain link. And that little muscle that I'm testing there is either strong for a yes or it's weak for a no. So as I'm asking then, can I act as proxy for Sydney and identify something within her body and help to clear that? And I get a yes with that. So we will go to the body code and we will open that program, that app. Is there something specific, Sydney, that you would like me to focus in on right now for today? Is there anything lingering like from COVID that you need help with on a physical level, or is there anything emotional left with that, do you think?
The reason I'm pausing is because there's so many different things right now that I'm like, which one?
Right. Right.
I would love to.
Which one's speaking?
I would love to. Maybe let's just work on my lungs as I'm still recovering from that.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Let's do it. So let's ask for your lungs, your respiratory system, if there is something that we can address through the body code that would support healing and balancing within your lungs. And I get a yes. So let's do that. Let's go to the body code. Is this from the left side of the chart? And it is. So you'll see what I'm doing. I'm just narrowing down if we get a yes, it's on this side, then we know it's not on the right side. So we'll just narrow down here and we're going right to energy. So let's go in there. And in this section, can we know if it's something on the left side of the chart? There is no. This is on the right. Is there an allergy or intolerance? No. Is this an emotional energy? Okay, we are going right to the emotional section. And this is from the left side of the chart. Is it a heart wall emotion? No. Is it a trapped emotion? Yes. Now, there's different types of trapped emotions. Like we talked about, there can be something inherited, there can be something absorbed or shared. Let's find out what type of a trapped emotion this is. And this, Sydney, is actually coming up from the left side of the chart, and this is inherited. That's cool. We get to do an inherited one. Okay, so let's see. I need to actually keep a little note here so I make sure I'm not getting myself lost. Okay, so this inherited emotion, can we know if this is something? Now we're going to the chart of emotions. Can we know if this is something from column A? It is not. It's from column B. So now we went from 60 emotions. We narrowed it down to now we've got 30. And now we'll ask if it's from an odd row in column B. No, this is in an even row. So is it from 2 is no, from 4 is yes. Is this an emotion of depression? Is no. Frustration is no. Indecisiveness is no. Panic, that's yes. So there's an inherited emotion of panic. And can we know where this came from? Was this something that was passed down through mom's line or your dad? This is through your mom. And was it something that originated with your mom? No. Was this panic passed down to her from her mom? Is yes. This would be your grandmother then. Is this panic something that originated with your grandmother? We're still getting no, so we'll keep going back until we find the source. Can we know if this was passed to your grandmother from her mom? That's a yes. Did this originate with your great grandmother? Okay, so that is yes with her. Do you know much about your great grandmother, your mom's mom's mom?
A little bit. I mean, not a lot. I wouldn't.
Does that panic maybe make sense in there as something that she might have gone through?
Well, when you told me that I had that and that it was inherited, I absolutely knew it was from my mother's side of the family.
So, and isn't it interesting that it's affecting your lungs? So what can happen is if there's something that's a little bit weakened, like you mentioned that you'd had COVID, and so your lungs have kind of been stressed out a little bit. They've been weakened a little bit. So sometimes that energy or that emotion will actually gravitate in your body to a weak place because it feels comfortable there. It's a low vibration. There's a low frequency there. And so it's kind of an interesting thing how that happens, how emotions tend to gravitate to weak areas in the body. All right. So let's ask about your son. Can we know if he has inherited this emotion of panic from you? And I get yes with him too. So let's ask if we can clear this from all of you now is yes. So here's what we're going to do. We're going over that governing meridian, and I'm just having you just relax and breathe. Make sure you're breathing, not holding your breath. We're clearing this emotion of panic. And, energy has to go somewhere. Energy doesn't just dissolve or disappear. So for me, I always picture this going to the heavens, going to God, going out to the sun, out to the universe, where it can be recycled into something good, So we're clearing and releasing this also for your son. We're clearing it for your mother, your grandmother, your great grandmother, any uncles, any aunts, any cousins, any siblings, nieces or nephews. We are extending this release to whoever wants to take the opportunity to release this emotion of panic. Now we're replacing this. So we're filling in the space now with peace and with calm. So I like to just imagine, since this is in the lungs, let's imagine, Sydney, that you're breathing in peace and calm and letting that high vibration energy go into your lungs and take that healing energy of light and love and peace and calm into those tissues, your bronchioles, the bronchial tubes, the alveoli that are within those lungs, taking that energy in. All right, just kind of take a deep breath. And now we'll check that through muscle testing and make sure we cleared that. Is that gone? Did we clear that emotion of panic for you? Is yes. Did we clear that for everyone back through this line? Any relative? Did that clear from your son? That's all testing yes. Yay. Isn't that awesome?
Love it.
Love that. Love it.
Perfect.
All right. Should we do one more?
Hey.
All right. Let's go back and ask if there is something else that is having a negative impact on your lungs and the healing that needs to go on within your lungs. Is there something that needs to be cleared? Yes. And this is taking us back to right side of the chart. Energy is yes. So we are going back to let's see, this one is not an emotional energy. This one's coming up as a reverberation. And this is a little bit different. This is a frequency or a vibration. Now, trapped emotions are balls of energy, and they become lodged in the body or the energy field, where a resonance is like the ringing of a bell or a tuning fork. It's that resonating vibration down to the cellular level. So let's find out the emotion here that is resonating or reverberating. Okay, let's go to the emotion chart. Let's ask if this is from column A. It is not. This is from B, odd row. 1 is yes. So is it received? No. Heartache is no. Vulnerability. So this one is vulnerability. Did the COVID virus make you feel vulnerable in some way?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sydney? Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting place for that vulnerability to trap. It's trapped right there in your lungs. Let's ask if we can go ahead and clear this now. And we've got a yes through the muscle test. So we will go ahead going over that governing meridian and clearing this resonance of vulnerability. So we are clearing this down to the cellular level, any cell that is vibrating with that frequency of vulnerability. We are clearing it completely out of the physical body, out of the energy field. And we're replacing it now, replacing vulnerability with security, with empowerment, with confidence. And I always like to say, just focus in on your lungs, kind of put your hand up there on your chest and just send some gratitude to your lungs for what they're doing and how hard they're working, and confidence in there, into your body, into your lungs, confidence that those lungs can do their job optimally, that they can heal, they can be strong, they can send that oxygen where it needs to go throughout your body. Okay, let's check that one and make sure we have cleared that. Can we know if that is gone now? Did we clear the resonance of vulnerability completely? And we've got a yes. So there's another good one. Hopefully those things will help you, Sydney, with your healing process here with your lungs.
Yes, I'm excited. Thank you for that. I think
Absolutely.
that's really cool to show everyone sort of how it works, because it's such a mystery, and trying to explain it to people is difficult, right?
It is. It's kind of a lot to take in all at once. I would point people to the Emotion Code book by Dr. Bradley Nelson. That's a great place to start. There's a lot of information that you can find just by Googling the emotion code or the body code. And of course, I do offer a free consultation, a 20-minute consultation too. So if anyone is wanting to reach out, very happy to do this type of thing that I've just done here with Sydney, with you today. I'm happy to do that with anyone who is interested in finding out more.
Awesome. That was going to be my next question, is how can we contact you? I will definitely put the link to the Emotion Code book in the show notes, as well as contact information for Becky. And this is a really good time for me to also mention that for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I have created a course called Break Free from Stress and Anxiety, a masterclass for women. And in that course, at the end, I have different practitioners for different modalities, one of which is body code, and Becky specifically. So if you purchase the course, you actually get discount coupon codes for these different practitioners. And with Becky, it's 25% off of body code sessions. So it's a free consultation and 25% off. So it's like a huge bundle, with tons of bonuses. It's not just the course, you get coupon codes and discounts for all these different modalities that I have used in my own healing. And when I say healing, keep in mind, you don't have to have a chronic illness. You don't have to be diagnosed with something. You can just have anxiety, stress. If you just want a better life, that's what this course is all about. So check it out. The link to that will also be in the show notes. And as well as contact information for Becky. And Becky, is there anything else you want to add before we?
I just think what you're doing, Sydney, is great. And you're one of my heroes. I really look up to you. And I think what you're offering to people with this course and even just with this podcast is so great. People need to be aware that there are so many beautiful, wonderful tools available to us for this healing journey that we're each on. And it takes some work, doesn't it? It's not easy. It doesn't just fall into your lap. You have to find what works for you. And so you're just a great resource, Sydney, and will be a great help to so many people. Yeah, and my website is just beckygraff.com, and would really be happy to meet any of you, and just wish everyone a happy healing journey. And thank you so much, Sydney, for having me.
Of course, Becky, thank you so much for being on this episode. And it was an absolute pleasure. Again, body code is one of my ultimate favorite healing tools, and it's life-changing. So reach out to Becky. She's incredible, in case you can't tell. And it will change your life. It will absolutely change your life. So get right on that. Becky, thank you again so much for being with us today. And I will catch all of you guys on the next episode.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you made it to the end of this podcast, there's a really good chance you are on a mission to heal your mind and your body. Did you know that healing your body truly starts with healing your emotions? So I am living proof of this because as a result of doing some really deep work on my trauma, my mindset, my thought patterns, diet, relationships, energy, and so much more, I was able to get completely off of dialysis and cancel a kidney transplant. Now, I know I've said this a million times, but I am telling you, I no longer suffer with overwhelming stress and anxiety on a regular basis, and it used to plague me. The work I've done has created a complete 180 in my life. And so who would I be if I didn't share this with others and how I was able to make such dramatic shifts for myself? That's why I put together the Break Free from Stress and Anxiety course, which takes you through the step-by-step process I use to come to a place where I can confidently say I'm fulfilled and genuinely enjoying my life. Now, if you're curious and want to dive deeper into what this course actually has to offer, I put the link in the show notes. Or you can go to my website, myinnertiger.com, and click on the Break Free link in the top right-hand corner. Now, if this episode really spoke to you today, please leave me a review and tag me on social media at myinnertiger so others can share in this awesome experience too. Okay, my friend, go out into this world and take one more step toward manifesting your dreams because you are